for the state board from this committee.
Yay, Sina. Sina is wonderful, and she's been a great asset to the Public Policy Committee and to the School Board Projects Subcommittee. So I know that she's going to be a fantastic addition to the board. Okay, I need to find let's start the recording. Did I start the recording? Oh, shoot.
Yes.
I did. Okay, thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. I think we are ready to start. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this afternoon for our peer group meeting. Comes Joy. All right. We have a really packed agenda today. Lots of good information to share with you all. We're going to start with updates from national, and then we have a ton of updates from state. So let's just jump right into it. Starting with updates from national. So the U.S. Department of Education has opened their public comment period on the proposed rule that is going to implement some really significant changes to student loans effective in July of this year. So you can go here to the statement that was made by Gloria Blackwell, AAUW, about how this is really going to shut women, especially Black and Brown women and student parents and first generation students, out of graduate and professional pathways. So check out her statement. And then we just wanted you to be aware that AAUW National right now is going to be, they're putting together some toolkit and action alert information that is going to be coming out soon so that we can all mobilize and take action and make public comment during this comment period. So look for that to be coming soon. And when you see it come across, please share it with your branch members. Yeah, Myra?
Could you put that link in the chat for me, please?
Amy, can I put all the slides in the chat right now?
No, just
Yes,
the
please.
link for the education.
But I'll put all the slides in the chat, and then you'll be able to click on all the links once you have the deck.
Oh, that's perfect.
Thanks, Missy. And then there are some additional reports that you can access down here at the bottom of the slide, all regarding the Department of Education. There's information from the Government Accountability Office about the costs of the layoffs and the restructuring that have taken place, and some other good resources for you to check out and learn more about everything that's going on at the Department of Ed. So Equal Pay Day in 2026 is going to be March 26th. And National is still working on the data breakdown by demographic groups. That's going to be coming out sometime in March. And also in March, National is going to be releasing pay gap information by congressional district. But they did let us know that if anybody would like the pay gap data for their congressional district before the full release comes out, in case you're having, meetings and whatnot, please let us know. And they've invited us to make special requests in advance of the full release. Also wanted to make sure that you're aware, the next No King's Day No King's Day is on March 28th. AAUW will be an official partner. And National is also working on It's My Vote materials, which will be coming out in late March. And this is that nice packet of materials that they provide for us every election year, including voter registration guides and how to hold candidate forums and all those good things. Also, there are some resources that National has provided for us regarding nonpartisan advocacy in an election year. So you can check out this new resource that's linked down here at the bottom, a nonpartisan playbook for AAUW affiliates and branches. And you can also view the recording of a recent webinar that they put on advocacy in an election year, staying nonpartisan while taking real action. So all of those links are available in this slide deck that Missy has shared. Anybody have any questions about these updates from National before we move on?
I don't think the Gloria Blackwell one is a live link.
Let me see. I go back. Oops, how do I? Here we
No,
go.
it's live, but I'll
Yes.
drop it. It's a live link. I'll drop that specific link into the chat right now, but it's live on the slide as well. I just checked it. It's just it's not blue. I think that something went on with the font, but Blackwell statement. First slide. Here you go.
Thanks, Missy.
You're welcome.
Okay, now just wanted to turn this over to Kathy Harper to talk about the School Board Project Symposium. But before I do, I just want to give a huge shout out to Kathy for all the tremendous work that she put into putting together this fantastic symposium last week on Saturday. Kathy, thank you so much for all of your hard work. It was really a fabulous event. So I hope that a lot of you had a chance to see it, and I'm going to turn it over to Kathy to give you some updates.
Thank you so much, Amy, and thank you for your kind words. I was just so gratified that it did turn out so well and that we had so many of our members in attendance. I don't know how many of you out there were able to attend, but I hope all of you were, and I hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. If you did, and if you want to make any additional comments, if you didn't take the survey, please let your liaison know if you have any comments about it, plus or minus any things we could have done better, but anything, excuse me, that you want us to share with us, that would be great. I just wanted to let you know that we had 115 of our members in attendance, and 85 out of 106 of our branches were represented. So this is really fantastic. It says a lot about how much our members care about this subject, how much they want to learn more. And in the comment sections, we had a lot of our members say, as a result of this symposium, I'm now going to start attending school board meetings. I'm going to start educating myself, and I'm going to start reporting on what we're learning. So all in all, I think it was a really great opportunity for our membership. Excuse me. Excuse me. And we have here on the slide is a link to our to the slide deck, and I think it's the whole recording. This is the link to the recording. If you weren't able to sit in, you can click on this and you can get caught up on the symposium, what we did. That's it. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, now we have some special guests here with us today. First of all, thank you very much to Rebecca Miller of AAUW San Francisco, who has given us this opportunity to learn about this exciting tool that's been developed by the League of Women Voters San Francisco Youth Council. We have with us Leah Mordechai, Youth Council co-chair and a student at San Francisco University High School, where she leads the debate team, participates in Model United Nations, and runs track and cross country. In addition to being the Youth Council chair for League of Women Voters San Francisco, Leah is a member of Youth Transforming Justice, interns for the City of San Francisco District 1 office, and she has co-founded a nonprofit called the Slavic Youth Circle. Leah is passionate about voting rights, democracy, and world politics. Leah, welcome. Leah, are you on?
I think Leah's there.
Wonder if she's gonna be here in a couple of minutes because her time was 1:45. And
Oh, okay. We're running a
just-
little.
I know.
Okay.
She did confirm.
Yeah. Okay. Should we move forward and then come back to Leah in a couple of minutes, Rebecca?
That sounds, thank you, if the schedule allows.
Yeah. Okay. Kathy, you have your hand up. Kathy Paps?
Yes, is there any way to minimize, I can't see all the people, is there any way to minimize the agenda and this like plain policy app and make it off to the side so that I could see all the buttons and all the people? Or more people?
I think that for your view at the very top of your Zoom screen, there's one that says meeting. So you can go to the meeting and see all the people.
Meeting. Let me see. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. We gotcha.
Okay.
But Amy, why don't we go to the next topic and then come back to this one?
Okay. So one of the things that we wanted to update you on is an exciting new project that we're working on at AAUW California, the Teen Girls Reproductive Health Awareness Project. This was brought to us by the Orinda Moraga Lafayette branch, and we're actually going to be highlighting this project during lobby days. OML has been working with a group of local high school students to write a resolution, which is being sponsored by Assembly Member Rebecca Bauer-Cahan. And the resolution is going to declare September 2026 as Reproductive Health of Teen Girls Awareness Month. The resolution is going to encourage high schools and colleges, public health agencies, pediatricians, and community health providers to promote educational campaigns on reproductive health topics to teenage girls. And right now, AAUW California is conducting further research with the help of these high school students and our public policy interns on potential methods to educate youth about social media misinformation related to reproductive health. So right now it's a very big general research project that the students are working on, but depending on where that research takes us, it's possible that we may find an opportunity to address social media misinformation with new legislation. So more information to follow on this, but just wanted to make you aware that this is an exciting new project that we have underway, and all of you that are going to be participating in lobby days in the next couple of months, you'll have a chance to introduce this to the legislative offices that you'll be meeting with. Any questions on this?
I see Kathy's hand.
Yeah, with regard to promoting it at lobby days, will that be in addition to the 3 bills?
It's just a quick, couple of bullets of talking points that the team leader can talk about during their introduction of AAUW. So we're not going to spend much time on it, but just to make the offices aware that this is something that we're working on. And let's see. And speaking of lobby days, just a quick update to let you know that at this point we have 180 people that are signed up to participate. They've been placed into 43 teams. There are 30 teams that are going to be meeting in the district offices, and they will be meeting with 57 different legislative offices. And then we have 13 Zoom teams that are slated to meet with 36 different offices. So for the in-district teams, team leaders will be reaching out to the district offices starting next Monday to schedule meetings. And those meetings are going to be taking place between March 27th and April 17th. For the Zoom teams, The Public Policy Committee is going to be reaching out to the legislative offices to schedule the meetings. So the team leaders don't need to schedule these. And Zoom meetings are going to take place April 8th through 10th. And Public Policy Committee will be providing all the details to those Zoom teams, date and time, and Zoom links. So we are going to be providing the details of the 3 bills that we will be advancing, including the talking points and the fact sheets. All of that will be available on March 16th, and that'll all be posted on the website. And the mandatory Lobby Day training webinar is going to take place on March 23rd at 7 p.m. So just please keep an eye on the webpage, which you can find on the AAW California homepage. If you scroll down, it's right on the middle of the page on the left-hand side. And you can take a look at all the resources that are already available there now. There's a lot of information, including key dates and frequently asked questions. And some of the team leader scripts and things have been posted. So you can check that out. And then we will continue updating that page with additional information as we have it. Also, many of you were on last night's team leader training session that we held. And the recording and the slides from that session will be posted there on that webpage as well. Any questions about Lobby Days? Okay, and I think we have Leah here with us now. Leah, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
And Leah, we gave a nice introduction of who you are before you joined on, so everybody knows who you are, and I'm going to turn it over to you to talk to us about the Plain Policy app.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, thank you all so much for having me. I apologize for being late. I am technically in school right now. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you all about my app Plain Policy. I can either share a presentation that I have, or I can just talk, whatever works best.
Yeah, that'll be great if you can share your presentation. Let me make you a, yeah, here we go. I think now you can share. And I'm going to
Okay,
stop sharing.
perfect. So I'll walk through the presentation, and then I'll also show you all the app. So yeah, just like, why do we need this tool? What is this tool? Brief introduction. So the problem that I noticed in my community, and that there's been a lot of research on, is that a lot of voters don't necessarily feel like they fully grasp what a legislation is going to do and what implications it's going to have on their life. Public Policy Institute of California found that 60% of people say ballot propositions are too complicated. And that's the initial problem that Plain Policy tries to solve by generating accurate 150-word summaries at an either 8th or 6th grade reading level to make both policies passed at the state level or ballot propositions simplified without losing their core meaning. And the target audience of this is youth, who can use this as a research tool, for whom it may be hard to understand the legalese that bills are written in as they come. For voters who maybe English is their second language, and for, disengaged community members who often don't have time to follow news and, do full research on what a ballot or piece of legislation and how that might impact their life. And so Plain Policy aims to re-engage these audiences and encourage them to make informed decisions when voting, and exercise their rights as constituents to contact their elected officials if they can formulate opinions about a legislation after understanding it. So before I go into the nitty-gritty about the app, something that's really important for me is kind of what inspired Plain Policy. This organization called the Sojourn Trip organizes youth, policemen, attorneys, obviously in different cohorts, to go to the South to learn about the civil rights movement. And while we were there, I visited the home of Medgar Evers, who was, I believe, the head of the Mississippi NAACP at the time. and he worked very hard to eliminate poll taxes, to encourage voting for everyone. And so I visited his house where he was brutally assassinated on the night that segregation ended in our country. And I met Rena Evers, his daughter, who is the head of the Medgar and Merle Evers Institute. And so this, I guess my goal with Plain Policy is to carry on his legacy of eliminating barriers to voting and informed voting, but doing so in a modern lens that uses the technology of 2026 to accomplish that. So how it works. So Plain Policy is an app and web tool that uses AI to create these summaries. You can search up a piece of legislation at the state level for all 50 states. And you can save a record. After simplifying a piece of legislation, you take an optional poll to simulate that voting experiences, and you can actually provide feedback that we keep in a database of like what you would improve to this ballot or legislation. And yeah, so that's kind of the basic functionality, and I'll show a demo of how it works. In terms of, I know AI is a very big question today and its reliability. And so we as a team have some safeguards to prevent, AI from giving false information. So first and foremost, if you use ChatGPT, for example, and you ask it a question, it's pulling from every resource that exists on the internet. Our AI, our model of ChatGPT that we trained is only accessing information from LegInfo, I believe. So it's literally reading the verbiage of the bill and simplifying that. It has no access to outside kind of, information. And so that does three things. First of all, it prevents kind of false things that are online about a piece of legislation to come through. In our simplifications, it prevents any kind of polarization that might exist in a media article about legislation to come through in our summary. And so it creates very simple, very reliable summaries. We've also been advised by the Harvard Ash Center on Democracy that, to prevent AI from kind of this effective, what's called AI hallucination, where AI can often make something up, is to have our AI is kind of back checked by another AI, which is by many experts seen as the most efficient method to cross-check AI. Obviously, if we could breed them all ourselves, we would, but we're a team of high schoolers, so that's increasingly difficult. So, and also kind of to that end, we've sought out verification from a lot of different accredited organizations to kind of demonstrate that our summaries have reliability, that they're not giving out false information. And so just recently I demoed Plain Policy to the San Francisco Department of Elections, who looked at several productions of these summaries and compared them to the original ballots and bills. And in their expertise, as they work with elections and all these things, they were able to actually verify for us, like on a rubric, and say, like, we think this is nonpartisan, we think this information is accurate, and it's not biased in any way, and kind of isn't trying to encourage the voter to think a certain way about a legislation. It's just, purely giving the text. So I can talk a little bit about kind of what we've done, where we're going. So right now we have kind of the prototype of the app. And with that, we are trying to implement it. Its use, obviously, we want just kind of the average person to be able to download it and use it when they're about to go vote or something like that, but also is in it through a youth-focused lens. We want it to be an educational tool. We're working with the National Youth Leadership Council to make sure that, so they have a program called Youth Solutions, and they're going to use it as a research tool, because the point of that program is to try and write new legislation, and they're going to use it as a research tool to know what past legislation has done or is doing. And similar with the Civic Engagement Committee, we're just going to present to their students. So that's kind of the work that we've been pursuing as of right now. And then I can stop sharing for 1 second and switch to another tab and show you all how the tool actually works. One moment. All right. Okay. So, so this is the tool. I can drop the link for this in the chat. You all are free to make an account. This is free also. Important to clarify. Anyone can use this tool. It's available right now only on the web. We're working on App Store. And so there are a couple different features. First of all, the settings. So to get the legislation, you want to pick what state you're in. So obviously we're in California, so we can just go with that. In terms of the city, we want to expand to a municipal level of simplifying municipal legislation, but it has proven extremely difficult due to the vast amount of cities that exist in the United States of America. But we hope to incorporate large urban centers eventually as we get more funding and expand, such as San Francisco, New York, Chicago, kind of all of the big hubs, but we're not there yet. So then here you can pick what reading level you want your summary to come out. Here is where you can just kind of have a record of things you've searched up before. We're working on updating this browse feature. It currently only works for California, but I guess that's most relevant to this audience anyway. And then to actually do so, first, there's a couple of ways you can search up, like if for some reason you have a photo of your ballot or legislation. Obviously you wouldn't be doing this in voting booth, but just saying, if you have a photo, you can take a photo and it will simplify it for you. If you want to kind of upload a link or a link to like Legiscan with the text, you can do that. Or you can simply say, what does Prop 50 2025 in California do? Simple question like that. And it will provide a summary once it loads. My school internet's not too great, so apologies. But yes, that's the summary, and you can see even like what these numbers are here is that it's actually like kind of citing what part of the proposition or legislation is getting the information from. So even there, you know that it's pulling directly from the text and not kind of hallucinating things. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Does anyone have any questions? Oh, you've got some questions. Okay. Thank you so much, Leah. And so our first question, I'll give it to Barb.
Oh, I think you might be muted.
Barb, I think you're muted.
There we go. Sorry. This is a wonderful presentation. Congratulations. Of interest, last night on Netflix, I watched a movie on Medgar Evers and his assassination, and then trying to bring the person that killed him to justice. So very timely.
I was just reading that article last night about Medgar Evers, and it's truly disheartening what's happening to his legacy right now. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Janice, go ahead.
Yeah, this is an amazing project, really interesting. I'm wondering if you're working at all with the League of Women Voters who...
I co-chair the San Francisco Youth Council of the League of Women Voters. I've demoed the app to them, and I think I'm going to national convention maybe, so gonna try and get it some spotlight there, but we'll see. So definitely they're a big target for me. Also, in terms of they might be another party who might try and kind of evaluate the output of the app because they're also very credible. So lots of partnership with League of Women Voters.
Great. Thanks.
Sina?
Yeah, I want to, it's wonderful. This is amazing. Okay. And I know it's geared towards like the young youth, but from my experience, both with the League of Women Voters and with our organization, AUW, many have troubles, struggling through the legalese and the, junk that's thrown into the defining what this bill is about.
I'm so excited.
And I know that as
here's our book, our rooms. So
I think I have background
all
here.
done. All of them. Here you are. If you want to.
Yes, okay. And I know that, as a league, I would speak on the different ballot issues, and the women were, mostly women at the meetings, were just so thankful. So the targeting of older people too would be really helpful, whether it be in senior assisted living places or senior, whatever.
I guess I have like a question back at you
Yeah.
in that context. I think I definitely understand how it could be helpful to them. My only experience in this is just that seniors have more trouble with technology as a whole. And so I don't know how actually effective it may be, but it's definitely something I'm open to doing. And I actually think it could be interesting to like, if we teach them how to use it, then it probably would be fine. So
What about, for instance, is it going to be printable so that somebody who has a technology knowledge prints it out and does, goes out and goes to different organizations, whatever? Is that possible?
I mean, not directly via the app, but I mean, anyone can take a screenshot and print. Um, but there's no like necessarily like print button on the.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And that's a real good point you're making. But I think somehow just having that app and having organizations, we could, play with it, whether it be to retype it or print it out, screenshot, whatever. But I think targeting, the general population of people, especially the older. Yeah.
Great point, Sina. Claire?
My question is a quick question, Leah. I was just wondering if other League of Women Voters, especially in the Bay Area, say to start, have been notified or told about your program, because like I'm in the League of Women Voters in the Los Altos Mountain View area, and I haven't heard anything about it. So I just wondering.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you know the leaders of the San Francisco Council, Allison and Ruth. But they told me basically we had a little like info session where I think she just forwarded it to a lot of different kind of leagues. Like we had some people from New York League that I met there, and so it definitely was open beyond San Francisco League. I'm not sure how maybe your contact information got lost or something, um but I'm definitely open to presenting to your league and other leagues around the country, of course.
Great. Okay. Thanks a lot, Melanie.
Of course.
Great. I'll ask a question, point of privilege, I guess. But Amy, I saw you on mute. Do you want to go first?
No, go ahead, Miss.
I think this is fantastic, and it would save us a lot of time because we're always working to put out public education about certain kinds of pieces of legislation and propositions. So I guess my first question is like, do you feel like, is this as ready to go? Where are you at in the prototype? Because I would feel pretty comfortable using part of this to promote, and as we kind of get our get out the vote efforts ready for the midterms. But if they're like, how far along in development, and do you feel like that you're ready for that?
So it's out.
It's out. Okay.
It's out. So let me actually drop this into the chat. And you will let me know if you can click on that and start using it. It may prompt you to sign in and make an account, but it may also not. So
yeah, it prompted for an account, but that's like,
I mean, it's just your email and password, nothing else. So yeah, feel free to use the app. It's in the chat now.
Cool. And I'll just throw out one other like really great, so we use ResistBot a lot, and I don't know if you know of them or use them, but it's a collective, it's free, it's nonpartisan, and that might be a good kind of connection, is like, because they do a lot of work with like people reaching out to their legislators. So I'll drop ResistBot in the chat if you aren't aware of it, just to make that connection.
I mean, yeah, if you have a connection, I'd love to be connected over email. I'm taking every avenue I can get to get people using the app right now. So
Great. Amy and then Sharon.
No, I was just going to say thank you, Leah. This is so impressive. I love this. And a question that I had was, is it possible to use the app to look up like a bill that was passed a couple of years ago and just get the details of that bill? Okay, very cool.
yeah, so because it's pulling from Legiscan, right? Everything stored on Legiscan can be like simplified via this app. I would just say use like date, like ask, make sure you tell it what year. Otherwise, Prop A gets reused, bill numbers get reused year to year, and so just the specificity will help you get the result you want.
Awesome, thank you.
So my comment is, first of all, you're amazing, and I'm in awe of what you have done. Is there no way that we can use your link in our public policy newsletter to link to this app and so forth? I mean, it's nonpartisan, and
yeah.
I'm asking Amy and Missy, can we propagate further?
Yeah, that's what I asked if it was ready to go so that we could, especially as we're preparing our midterm, like primary get out the vote efforts.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I see. Leah, do you have a few moments for a few more questions?
Oh yes, please.
Okay.
I don't really want to go back to United States history right now, so feel free to yap away.
We will help you with that. Kathy, go ahead.
This is actually for you and Amy. I'm thinking that I wonder if we could use this in conjunction with our legislative agenda summaries. It may be either in conjunction with or in lieu of. Just use those instead of our summary sheets, evaluation sheets. What do you think?
I think right now, there's already, so yes, because right now, the kind of the tools like Bill Track 50 and the existing tools have already started integrating AI to create the summaries within them. So I think this is a kind of, could be a good melding, but we should, yeah. So yes, is what I'll say.
Pardon?
Right.
I don't know, to be honest.
I hear someone. Okay, I know. Myra?
Yeah, I wanted to say that was an excellent presentation, and I was able to open the link and it works. The one you put in the chat. Thank you,
Oh.
Leah, so much.
I'm glad it works, and I'm glad you will, have the liberty to enjoy and understand complicated legislation and not spend hours reading it.
Okay. Fantastic. Any other questions for Leah?
Really quickly, I want to touch, I think Rebecca, had a question for me in the chat that I'll just answer. She wanted me to touch on the verification from the Department of Elections. And I did mention this earlier, but I demoed the app to the Department of Elections. They had 3 of their experts evaluate so we created a document of like outputs of different like San Francisco propositions, and they, with all of their knowledge and expertise in elections and nonpartisanship and all of this, read them, evaluated them, told me like, we think like this is basically, we created kind of a rubric for them pretty much of like, do you think this is partisan? Do you think this is accurate? Like that general thing. And the end result was like overall, they said that it was factual and not partisan or biased by anything. And so we did have, and we're working on revamping, like, so that's the web platform, but we have a website too, just like about us. And we're revamping it a little bit, but on our Instagram, there's like a photo of me with the Department of Elections. And so I think I followed the AUU or AAUW Instagram. So yeah.
If you're on Blue Sky, our public policy posts on Blue Sky quite a bit, but that's where we put most of our information, but we'll make sure we send it out through our state platforms more generally. I'll drop
Thank you.
our blue sky in the chat. Joy?
Yeah, apologize, maybe I missed you clarifying this before, but is this just for propositions or is it for any bill?
Yeah, so in terms of the scope of the app, it works for state and state ballot propositions and legislation. So yeah, not at the local level, but any of the 50 states. Not just for California, make that really clear.
And not federal legislation.
Sorry?
Not federal legislation.
Not no. We are again kind of working on integrating more, levels, but we need some funding, and so we're working through that right now. But it will come. Updates will come.
Can I ask one question?
Yes,
go ahead.
Okay. Okay, a lot of the propositions, of course, have not been written yet, so we really don't know yet what's going to all be on the ballot. Isn't that correct? So is that true that there'll be a lot more added into this platform?
Right. Yeah, so the AI is kind of linked to pull its information from LegisCan and the other government kind of approved platforms where this language is put. And so once it's put on the government platform, our AI it's automatically integrated into our site.
Okay. And my next question is can your responses in the plain policy be copied off of? In other words, there's a possibility to print. I think maybe somebody else asked that question.
So you can copy and paste it into a document and print. You can screenshot and print, but there's no direct print button.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes, I can't see you, but
it's Susan. Yeah, Susan. Thank you very much, Missy.
Go for it.
Okay, Leah, I have kind of a complicated question. Sometimes a bill would tax an individual, so that could be perceived as negative, of course, but it might also provide a service that's very valuable to that person or their family. So if the summary includes how it might affect a person, an individual, does it also maybe talk about how it might impact society? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think based on the model that we've trained, we attempted to kind of do a balanced analysis, on the individual level might do this, or society might do this. And so definitely something we're training it to do. And we're constantly training this model to improve. And by more people kind of using it, it will improve. And so that's something that we hope to see. And in our next kind of round of updates, definitely hope to kind of improve on and make sure it gets better. But I definitely see what you're saying and understand that.
Thank you so much, Leah. Appreciate it.
Great question, Susan. Any other questions? Janice wants to know how large your group is on working. We are trying really hard to make sure you don't have to go back to history. No, I'm kidding. Janice says, how large is your group working on this?
Right now we're at, sorry, it's like my brain muscle is really hard. I just came from math, but 5 people right now. Just 2 weeks ago, it was 3 people. And yeah. Honestly, this was my idea. Big kudos to our coder because me and my I'm a public policy girl. I'm an econ girl. I'm not a coding girl. I had to learn a lot for this. And so kudos to our coder who did a lot of that. And yeah, so 5 people.
Well, I think this is fantastic. We will help promote you and, come back to us if you have updates or if there's anything else that we can do to support the important work that you're doing.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll do is I will actually drop the email, the plain policy email in the chat. And if any of you, I know you all work with a vast variety of civic organizations, I know a lot of you are part of the League of Voters, or just kind of if you have any feedback, ideas, partnerships that you want to pursue, I'm going to drop our email in the chat. And of course, you all have the link to the tool now. So I encourage all of you to make an account and use it and tell your friends about it, tell your communities about it. But also, if you ever want to contact me, that is the email for this organization, and I manage it. So I am always open to kind of, hearing all the feedback and everything.
Great. Thanks, Leah. And thank you very much, Rebecca, for connecting us with Leah and this really great work.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much to everyone for letting me hijack your meeting and present my project.
No, I hope you don't have much history class to go back to.
Indeed not. We're doing presentations on U.S. imperialism, so.
We already know about that. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you so much, Leah.
Thank you
Have
very
a great
much,
day,
Leah.
everyone. Bye.
Bye. Wow, that's fantastic. So impressive.
Absolutely. Oh, do I have to go after that? Seriously? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say now. All right. So, after that inspiring, kind of presentation, I'll talk a little bit about, the project that we have been working on getting launched at the state level. I'm already filtering through all the interesting ways that we could help support this app. This will be like municipal and state, so maybe not. But so CCAMP, we've been talking about it since the fall. We're going to finally launch. And so this is providing kind of action-based resources to support local and hyper-local advocacy. So we are trying to, create the kind of platform and project that pushes folks that don't yet maybe have a relationship with their city councils and boards of supervisors to start building a relationship there and doing kind of hyper-local advocacy that aligns with our public policy priorities. So in 2026, we have a specific focus. So each year we're going to have like a specific focus and a specific ask, and that doesn't limit the things that you can or might want to do with your city councils or your boards of supervisors. But our focus in 2026 is on anti-discrimination education and protection hyper-locally or locally. And that focus comes from really the kind of misinformation and that is swirling around about what discrimination is and is not, that is coming down from the federal level. And so thinking about how we can leverage what we're doing already at the local level and what the city councils are already doing to create more local public education and to actually implement some state level legislation that allows for greater local anti-discrimination protections. So, Sina, go ahead and ask.
Yeah, the question is, okay, this is so timely. I got a call this morning, an emergency call kind of thing, that they want in Temecula to go to the city council to discuss ICE and allowing ICE on property, city property, etc. And a lot of it having to do with the sheriff, which is the county wide. So that's where we have to follow because we have a county system. And the sheriff is part of the county, not the city. So, and the meeting is on Tuesday. So this is so appropriate. This is discrimination, okay? This is definitely discrimination. It may not be whatever, but it certainly is, in other words, allowing our federal government to go and seek out people who they're brown skin, they speak Spanish, whatever it is, just arbitrarily go in and grab people on our city property. So I'd love to get, if you have any information, because the meeting is Tuesday, and also if I can help in any way to give back information of what is happening on the ground. But yeah, I'm looking to gather people to come to the meeting on Tuesday. So thank
Okay.
you so much for doing this, because I think this is so important. And I mean, we're experiencing it obviously throughout our country, but clearly how the city reacts and the people, the city council members, that's who we're trying to obviously influence and say no to the sheriff.
Yeah, and Sina, we're working on a toolkit, so
Oh, good.
it's a little messy, but send me an email and can give you a preview, and I'm happy to jump on a call with you just to talk about it before
Sounds
Tuesday.
good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
Thanks.
welcome. So we put together a general overview document that's linked on this slide, and at the urging of we had a public policy committee meeting, and the good idea was raised that having a webinar to launch it might be a good way to launch so that we can talk through it. So we're going to do a launch through a webinar on February 27th. If you can't make it, then it will be recorded and you can watch it. If you can't make it, then register for the webinar and leave me a question, and I'll try to address any questions that I get if for any reason you can't make it. That 1:30 p.m., my schedule is a little intense, so I know it's not the best time for everyone, a Friday at 1:30, but that is a time that I'm available. That's right, the webinar and the launch, and there's a registration on here. Um, and Donna, yes, right? So we can coordinate if you want to talk before an upcoming meeting. I'm happy to give you some feedback. But more coming on what this looks like if you want to know more. The 27th, and then after the webinar, the full toolkit will be launched to everyone, and it'll go out in the March PP News. So look for the full toolkit in the March PP News and the recording of this webinar if you can't make it. Any other questions at the moment?
Want to plug the car back in? Yeah.
The link to register, Susan, is on the this slide, but I can drop it directly in the chat as well. Let me grab it for you.
I tried to click on it on the slide and I couldn't open it.
There you go. See if that
Thank
one
you.
works in the chat. You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Not a problem. All right. So you might have noticed in this month's public policy news, uh, we wrote a "What Might Happen to Prop 50" article, and they moved fast. So as soon as public policy news went out, the article was irrelevant. No, I'm kidding, right? But there we can celebrate. It's us not needing to read about what might happen because we get to celebrate that Prop 50 stands. The Supreme Court made a decision on Tuesday, I believe, to actually the decision was to not even hear the appeal to the Supreme Court, so they did not grant that appeal at all. But so the decision at the circuit court stands, and at that court, Proposition 50 was approved, so we are good to go, and our map will go forward. So good news in a sea of not good news. And I just want to address when am I going to take my Christmas stockings down? And that will be Easter. Easter is the answer to that one. I took down my lights outside. That's all I got. That's all I got. Right. No King's Day. I know that Amy mentioned this, but we want to make sure that we highlight that No King's Day, March 28th, AAUW again will be an official partner for No King's Day. So we'll have a toolkit, but if you want to get a jump, you can look at the fall toolkit because that gives some I don't think the toolkit's going to change super significantly. But the new one will be updated. We'll share it with you as soon as it's updated and released. The October one is linked on this slide, so you can take a look at it and prepare yourself and save the date. I will be flying to Pittsburgh, so I will, if I land in time, I will be doing No Kings on the East Coast, which should be an interesting experience in Western Pennsylvania. So, any questions about No King's Day?
Yeah, I don't think the links on the slides are working. Can you drop it in the chat?
That's interesting. They're working for me. Are they working for you, Amy?
Yeah, they are working for me. I'm not sure why some people can't access them.
If you download the slides, I can go to the slide and it's the live link, but the ones that you're projecting don't work.
Oh yeah, this is just a
Good point.
screenshot on Zoom, so you won't be able to get it from your screen. But the Missy, maybe we should share it out again so people can open it on their computer. I know you already shared it previously.
Yeah. So you have to actually click on this link. Slides.
I have a question. If can you hear me? This is Shari Simon about No King's Day.
Hi, Shari.
Yeah, go ahead, Shari.
I don't know if anyone is from AUW is actively involved with the organization at a national level, but I've been thinking that the prior ones have been terrific from a feel like we're not alone, build camaraderie perspective, but and I read a lot of conservative press. They're very easy to mock. They're very easy to laugh at. And I've been thinking a lot that we need to shift and have these be serious, somber, like we shouldn't be saying, Trump has a little penis. I mean, I think we should be like I know it's fun and I know it's festive, but I keep thinking about like civil rights, and I keep thinking about the way in which like in the when and I can't think of their names, and that's why I'm pausing, but when they were going into the diners and saying I want to be served, they went in dressed well, like not being offensive, not doing anything. And so when they were arrested, it looked like they were doing nothing other than being black, and the obvious racism was so inherent in that. And I feel like we need to be protesting totalitarianism and Trump behavior if it has the impact that we want. And I realize I might be a lone voice, but I'm just thinking we got to change this. I mean, I keep thinking back to Pussy Hats in 2016. And I'm thinking, what were we thinking? We made a joke of ourselves. And I think we need to just shift the whole persona. So anyway, I didn't know who to reach, who to share that with, but I just wondered if even with AUW, if we wanted to move in that direction, where we could talk to, because I think we gotta rethink it.
Thanks, Sherry. And before anyone else, I know Cassie had their hand up. I have my own thoughts, and I'm going to let everybody else talk first. So Cassie, I know you had your hand up first. It might be a different topic, but go ahead.
No, I do want to talk about No King's Day. I'm talking about being out of town, on No King's Day. I was in Warm Springs, Arkansas for the October one, and it was really heartwarming to see like scores and scores of people out there with, so have a good time in Western Pennsylvania. It's not the same as being at home, but it's kind of neat to see what other communities are doing.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, Cassie. And I want to comment on in the chat too. It's the AAUW has tried to encourage us to focus on pro-mission signage. That's correct. Like if you're out and you are representing AAUW, then that you're supposed to be right talking about. I used Cena's great line, right? Political, not partisan. That's my sign up there. That was all CINA. And so that's what the toolkits do is like, this is pro mission. This is our public policy priorities. This is what we are here to do and say. And so like AAUW itself has been focused kind of more on that. Sina, go ahead.
Yeah, I just came yesterday. We have now every Thursday, and we got sign to protest, and we got signs that Indivisible started, and there we only have a few people. We have 12 or 13 signs, and the first sign says this, this is fascism, and then we go down the line, if you will, with the signs. Censoring military troops in our city. There are specific things that are being violated, which fascist governments do. And it's a very effective. We found this, and I want to give Indivisible a credit on this. We ordered the signs, and we found this so effective. And it is all focused on all the violations under different categories. And we have other people with American flags because we are Americans. The other side likes to take that as their symbol only. So
exactly,
it's. I think that I don't see any kind of joking. We are very much focused on the violations to our Constitution and what fascism looks like, and we are now in that picture. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree. I'm not trying to get in the MAGA. I'm trying to bring in anyone who's center right to feel like this march is theirs, that their rights, their values are being as violated as anyone's. And I just am hoping that that's the kind of impact that this can begin to have, because I think that's when things are going to shift.
And I think
it's just a bias, but thank you. I appreciate everyone's feedback, and I shouldn't be saying anymore. I'll let everyone else talk.
Kathleen, go ahead.
Yes, Sherry, I agree with you, but I'm not familiar with No Kings being, it's not just AAUW. So even if we behave ourselves and are more serious about the issues and have signs on the important missions that we're talking about, you can't control the other people who are at it. And so it kind of bothered me a little bit. It seemed kind of flippant too. And you do need to try and get as many people as possible. And the fact that you said center right is absolutely perfect, because there's a lot of people that are disgusted that are not far left liberal, but I wouldn't know how to do it. And I don't usually.
No, that's why I said I didn't know if we knew anyone at national, or if anyone on this call knew someone at national or who is involved in the organization of the No Kings. I just thought maybe their leadership, and then if that got sent out the same way AUW was sending it out,
that
sure, change it.
Indivisible.
It being more, and I'm not saying that it wasn't serious, but the festival element.
Kathy?
I just wanted to expand a little bit on something I just dropped in the chat, and that's it. I think it's really important for us to keep in mind that when you go to these marches, you can go in one of two ways. You can go in your individual capacity, and when you do that, you can put up anything you want. You can be as flippant as you want. You can be as fun as you want. You can be as, somebody said something about it's fun to get under his skin. All of that's fine in your individual capacity, but when you wear an AUW shirt or you have signage that includes an AUW logo or imprint, you're representing our organization. And we're a brand, and we have a united message that we want to get across, and that message is about our values. And so I think my position is that I'm on the National Public Policy Committee as well, and so I know very well that they agree with this, is that, and this should all be in the toolkit, but when you're representing AUW, you're in a whole different capacity. So if you don't want to do that, if you want to do the flippant side, that's fine. Go in your individual capacity and have a ball. But when you're representing AUW, it's different.
Thanks, Kathy. And I think Susan put something in the chat too, that like I think if we want to have these be as big as possible, that I think that's always the big tent side of it, right? That like there's an entire theory called pleasure activism, right? And there's a lot in like queer theory that is about, and Black feminist theory about the centering of joy, right? In the kind of work that you're doing. And so I think that some of the things that like inflatable frog costumes, right? And dancing, right? Is part of that comes from at least in my mind, some of it comes from a theoretical space, not as much as like, so I think we have like the frog costumes and the dancing and the joy. We have the stuff that's directly like insulting, right, the administration, and then we have mission-based stuff. And so I mean, I will definitely bring this to public policy, just thinking about our partnership. But I think in thinking about like the number of people that we have in these like large coalition for No King's Day, that there are lots of different ways to protest, and people protest for different reasons. But to reiterate Kathy's point, right, if we're there as AAUW, we should do it in a particular way. Myra?
Yeah, mine is quite simple. I think we're not only defending our democracy, but our Constitution. I'm glad that this project about ICE is beginning, because I I'm fearful that they will come to our polling stations in October, and that really bothers me a lot.
Yeah, it is a very strange time, and I'm very glad to be in coalition with all of you, because it's important that we can talk about all of this and that we can find ways to act together. But Shari, I hear what you're saying, and I will bring like that back to as we think about our partnership with No Kings, like, um, and like, because I'm watching the chat. Right.
Well, thank you.
Any other? Okay, well, we'll talk about continuing to take action, right? So this was in public policy news too, but we wanted to make sure that we said thank you to all the branches who did a pretty quick turnaround to sign on to the AAUW California letters to our senators. We had a couple come in late, and the only reason we couldn't take them is because they hand delivered the letters to the offices in DC. So that's why we needed to get them on a letter that they could print and then hand deliver. So thank you to the 67 branches who signed on to the letters. And we have them linked on the slides, so you can see the letters that went to Senator Padilla and Senator Schiff. We also created this as a ResistBot petition that we could share out. So that's not only for people or branches that might not have had a chance to sign on, but so you could send a letter as an individual via ResistBot. And that, so I'll make sure that if that link's not there, then I'll drop that link in the chat too. And, share that one out broadly. So standing in solidarity with Minnesota, we created a statement on ResistBot. Kathy Harper sent an initial request. I used some of Kathy's language and some of my own to create a petition to demand accountability. And that petition is also available to sign, send out, or use the language to simply make calls, whatever is your preference. I think we're on. Yep. And so don't worry, we always have tons of resisting resources, but we have the targeted actions for this month are focused on reproductive justice. So every month we have a theme and then focus some actions around that theme. The first step is always thinking about making sure that you are educated on specific issues around the theme. So this one, we have lots of different links. There was a really great webinar with Leah Littman, so we have you linked to that webinar, the recording, if you want to look at it. Leah Littman is the host of the Strict Scrutiny podcast and is a constitutional law professor. So that is available there. We suggested a PBS documentary and an episode from The Daily, depending on if you like to watch or listen, about growing up trans and parenting a trans kid in the United States right now. And we have one from John Oliver about trans athletes specifically. And we had an article, I wrote an article about reproductive freedom in PP News. So lots of educational stuff. So what do you do with that once you've read through it? Part of action is then sharing them out, talking to others about them. We suggested this month to maybe have a watch party for one of the things that we have, right? How do you share things out? And then step 3 is like, how can you actually then reach out to your representatives? I see that the chat is popping off, but I have not read it all. So I'm going to look at it in a second because I can see it blinking over here. But so give me a second and I will take a look at what is going on here. Ah, okay. Yes. Okay. Kathy already answered the indivisible training. Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. What do we have up next? I think that's just upcoming events. And then we've got, oh my goodness, did we finish on time, Amy? Is this like a record? This is like a record. Okay. So upcoming webinar, we already talked about the CCAMP launch webinar. And then we have, if you missed the symposium, I highly recommend giving it a watch. That was absolutely fantastic event and so informative. Really a great event. So the recording is available there. The recording for Leah Littman, and then a recording on the podcast Reproductive Healthcare Issues Post-Dobbs. All of those are available to you, and I think we are open for Q&A. Kathleen, do I see your hand up?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is my first time on this, and I'm very remiss on it because I've been public policy director for Sacramento for a while. But I don't think our branch was particularly, for being so large, active with the state in the past. It's been up and down from what I gather, because I'm fairly new. How can we, is there a way to communicate more with other branches in the state to find out how they handle public policy and whether or not there are ways that I could improve or that I'm doing wrong or something to try and get our branch to participate more. And it's a common theme. We had IBC luncheon last week, and I spoke to some of the other branches in the area, and there were a couple that are literally on the skids and possibly going to have to disband, I've heard. So I'm always looking for ways to try and get more participation in my branch, but I kind of am at a loss on how to do that.
I think this forum is a good place, like for connecting with others that you can talk to each other. We post when branches hold events so that you can see what other branches have done that you might want to use their good ideas. I think those are kind of two big things, but like getting people to participate, like that is a consistent that is a consistent issue that we've heard like throughout the state. And
our branch is real anti-Zoom. they don't want to have programs. And so I do pat myself on the back. I do pretty good programs on public policy, but we have programs on all sorts of things. And we have a very good DEI chairperson in that. And so we do mission related programs, but the same people come to them. And some of the programs I've worked weeks on, we do this incredible slideshow ourselves, my friend who is actually our secretary. And we do these big shows and people attend, but not very many. And then what they tend to say is, oh my gosh, so much hard work. They never say, I learned a lot or I'm going to use this in any way. And it's very disheartening to say, this is actionable. You know, there's things you can do, and then they don't take that away from it. They just go, wow, you guys are great and you worked hard. I don't do it for that reason. I don't want to work this hard, to be honest. We've never recorded ours. We've never did a Zoom because they keep telling me that there's no interest in it. So I don't know, maybe I should go in that direction and start doing Zoom programs.
I will give the floor to Sue because I see Sue and Kathy's hands are up and they are fantastic. So Sue,
okay, thank you.
Do you want to weigh in? Sue?
Loving this discussion we're having today. I just want to report out one of the things I attended recently. We collaborate with a group called Stronger California, and it's an association of something over 24 groups that have probably more specific issues generally than we do. But it's a good way to support the work others are doing as well as to get their support for us. People reported out on different things, but it's very clear that a very big issue in many Stronger California groups is childcare. And a group has been formed is there at the bottom. Raise CA Strong. And there's going to be a lot coming forward about funding childcare, but it's a lot bigger than that. There are 5 pathways they see for change in the way childcare is handled in California: affordability, access, stability, quality programs, and economic impact. So I just wanted to make you aware that this is another issue that we can decide to what extent we want to be involved, but it's big in California.
Thanks, Sue. I'll say that we just talked to Kathy Van Osten today about signing on to something that I don't know if this exact org, but she's going to send us more information about signing on to kind of a follow up on funding for childcare in California. So we'll have more to report on that as well. Before we go to Kathy Harper, I just want to note in the chat for Kathleen that Shari and Cassie are both thinking about developing their public policy teams. And so Shari left you an email and a phone number that you can kind of like brainstorm together to work together to think about ideas. Kathy Harper.
Thanks. So sorry, when I first put my hand up, I was going to respond to Kathleen, but then I also want to respond to the issue that Sue raised. Kathleen first. About 2 years ago, I did a statewide webinar on why public policy matters. And it's still posted on our website. And if you're interested, I would suggest that you think about taking a look at that and playing that at a program, one of your program meetings, because it's about equal parts inspirational. That's what it's designed to do, is to get people pumped up about why it's so important to do public policy work. And then the other half of it is actionable items. Here are some things that you can actually do to get involved in, and ways that, you know, if you have 4 or 5 different projects going on, if you can put it to your branch members. So just sign up for one. Just one of these 5 things you can get involved in. You don't have to do all.
I don't have that much power. We have somebody who is the program chairperson in our group, and she is in charge of, and we have chosen to do 2 public policy big programs that I'm in charge of a year, but then they do other kinds of things. And
I just wanted to bring to your attention that that's there, and if you want to take a look at it yourself.
Okay, well, I'm not adverse to doing it. It's just how to get my board to want to do that kind of thing. So
yeah, maybe you can get them to look at it. To Sue's point, 3 years ago, we co-sponsored 2 childcare bills. And we worked really, really closely with the author's office on doing that. We did some speaking engagements. We spoke at the committee meetings, and the bills were, the main one that we were working on was made into a 2-year bill, and this was the 2nd year that it was supposed to be funded. And I just read yesterday that the governor declined to include the funding in his budget. So, Missy, that's probably what you're talking about, what you're going to be talking with KBO on, is how we're going to follow up on that. But it was so disheartening to see that we had worked so hard on that bill and actually got it passed, and now we can't get it funded. And this is such a crisis in our state. It's something I really hope that we're going to be doing some work on this year.
Yeah, it's about, I'm guessing it's in response to that and some other cuts, but it's like building a coalition of folks that are trying to push forward protecting childcare funding slots in the state budget moving forward. So she brought it up today, and we don't have any details, but yes, that is very important, especially given the legislation that we push forward. Ginny?
Yeah, I was just going to offer a couple of suggestions to Kathleen. Our branch, we utilize the public policy newsletter a lot in our monthly newsletter. I mean, you know, you can download the articles. There's many that we would use, and so we kind of really saturate our branch on public policy issues, and we collaborate a lot with other nonprofits in the area. I mean, we come up with very good programs too, and then you have maybe 10 people on a Zoom call, which gets very demoralizing, especially if you get a really good speaker. So one of the ways is to try to hone in with some other groups. United Nations Association we've done, because, you know, sustainable goal number 5 is women's equality, children, hunger, you name it. All those things are all important and are found in our priorities. You know, so, and at your meetings, I mean, we always have time when we have a meeting. We're going to hybrid meetings now for the most part. So people who want to come and show up in person do, and for those who can't, they Zoom into the meeting, and it's worked out pretty well. And even our speakers, no, we don't necessarily get in-person speakers. They're on Zoom, even though it's a hybrid. Sometimes we do. But at our meetings, we always have a portion of it devoted to public policy. So I'll get up and talk a little bit about the latest issue and what should be done. So, you know, those are all kind of suggestions.
Well, so a lot of branches have meetings other than program meetings where there's a big program, because we don't do meetings other than board meetings.
Oh, we do monthly program meetings. I thought that was pretty standard, but I guess
well, no, we do. But I mean, in order to do that, I would have to ask for time, and so I'm. So that would be interesting. I can talk with our presidents and see what they say, but I'm usually given about 5 minutes, and so I have this board that I've invented that I'm bringing with news from national, news from state, and mission related stuff. And I bought a bunch of books that I can lend out so that people don't have to try and get the books themselves. I mean, I've come up with everything I can throw at it, but the interest isn't there for taking a lot of time out unless from a speaker or from a program itself. When they have a meeting before the program speaker or whomever starts, it's very, very short. And so I only have time to just say, please read your newsletter, please, check out state, please check out national, tell them what's coming up, but it's very, very cursory. It's like, I'm just give it a few minutes to do that. I don't want to argue with people. See, that's my problem. I don't want to say, well, because I've already said at our last board meeting, we're not doing enough, and I just don't want to be considered a pest. So
Kathleen, I really share your frustration, and Ginny, I really share your feelings about how demoralizing it is. The membership, the attendance at my public policy meetings has fallen off so sharply. Even, my group does Zoom a lot, and even when I offered it by Zoom instead of in person, people still couldn't be bothered. I think I had 3 people at my last meeting.
Oh, wow.
So I put out an email and asked everybody, is there a better time? What time segment would you prefer? And I think I gave 5 alternatives. 3 people responded. So that's why I said, can I get in on that talk with Sherry? I need suggestions. Thank you.
Yeah, our meetings, when we come up with our program meetings for the year, the subject, basically it's our board. We're a committee of the whole. So basically we have someone who says you're assigned programs, but we all do it. I concentrate on every meeting being a public policy meeting unless we come up with something else, because everything, it's so broad when you look at our 4 pillars that you can find something for anything that's on there and make it a program meeting. So basically that's what we do. I mean, at the holiday, we had sort of a holiday party, and that we didn't have any, specific subject to discuss. It was more networking. But other than that, our meetings are basically related to some public policy issue.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I almost feel like our club has lost sight of the importance of the 4 pillars. And I agree with you. I think public policy is at the heart of what we do as AAUW. But ours has turned into more of a women's club where people have a bridge club and a book club and the California cuisine club. But can I get people excited about public policy? I mean, yeah, if I do all the work, they'll come out for the candidate forums. And, I'm fortunate to have a few people who are willing to help me with lobby days. But
public policy is life that we're living. I mean, why aren't people interested in this? It affects them on a daily basis.
I can't wait to read Kathy. Kathy, thank you for mentioning that what you posted is still up, and I'm gonna go look for it because it sounds like the encouragement that I need right now.
I'm going to drop it. I found the slide deck for it, so I'm going to drop that in the chat. That's the deck. I didn't find the recording, but I found the deck. And I don't know, I'll let Amy talk, but Cassie, maybe you could tell them that they can't have their bridge club if they don't have rights. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, my branch is very inactive, but the one thing that we tried a couple of months ago that seemed to really work is postcard writing. So we did Reclaim Our Vote, and we actually had a dozen people that signed up and wanted to write postcards. So we wrote postcards into Virginia to encourage people to go out and vote in their elections, which were very important elections this last November. So that's one thing, Kathy, that you might try. And also, like the San Jose branch, I think Susan Carlins was on here earlier, and I don't think that she's on anymore, but they do some fantastic things. Like they will send out to all of their members, the 5 calls app, and make calls into your senators and your congressmen to urge them to take action on certain issues. And so that's something really easy that you can do to just get people to pick up the phone and call their reps. I know that San Jose also does these meetings with their elected officials in the area, their congressmen and different reps that they've got down there. So those are some things that you can do that are different from putting on programs, but just to get people mobilized and come out to talk to electeds and do some different things. So just a couple of ideas.
Shari, go ahead. And I want to note everyone, it's 3:03 if you have other things that you have to go to. This is a great conversation, so I'm going to let it keep going, but I want to respect everyone's time and let you just note the time. Shari, go ahead. You're muted.
Sorry. I can take a few minutes now to share some of the things that we're doing, or we could set up a separate Zoom. But we started the year with public policy being a team of 1 to 2 people, and we're up to 16 people now. And we began by really talking about that we were in a very difficult time. And we wanted to first, that we had 2 directions or 2 objectives. And one was to create community and get together with people who were like-minded, and to really just be able to know that we were people who would be available for each other on a moment's notice when we just needed, when we just felt on those days like, oh my God, this is just too much. How do we get clarity? How do we survive what's going on in the world? So that was number 1. And when we do meet, we meet monthly on Zoom, and that's where we begin. We start talking initially with just seeing how we all are and checking in. And then we get very public policy focused. So we've got 5 or 6 things that we've got kind of on an agenda that are going on, that people are taking action, between the school board project, what we're doing, with lobby days, what we're doing as a branch. We've done 4 public policy related meeting topics as our general meeting topics. And so we've done immigration, voting rights. I'm trying to think of, we've done reproductive freedom, and I'm trying to think of what, and we did a school board presentation, and we had our state, we had our, Rebecca Bauer-Kahan speak in our October meeting. So we are a very public policy focused branch. We're fortunate that comes down from the president, and all of the board buys into that. I also get 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at every general meeting to talk about ways that people can minimally take action. I've given demos on ResistBot. We give demos on how to do how to use the 5 calls app. And we also created what we refer to as the action tracker. So anything that anyone does related to community involvement or action-oriented activity outside of AUW, we are tracking that because we wanted to show how much we are doing as a branch. And the whole branch has gotten into that. And I give a report on that at the board meeting. So these are just some of the things that we've kicked off this year. And it's kind of amazing. I mean, when it came to lobby day, I had someone who just joined this year that I was able to turn to and say, can you do lobby day? I'm feeling maxed out. And without.
I'm sorry, Sherry, what branch are you with?
This is Arinda Moraga Lafayette.
Thank you.
So it helps. I mean, it helps that the board wants to be a 5-star branch. It helps that everyone is on board. But those are just a few of the things we've done, and I'm happy to share agendas, topics. We're prototyping the action tracker. We're hoping that that's something that we can share. We thought we wanted 1 year of data and then bring it to all of you. So I wasn't really ready to talk about that today. We were just, kind of prototyping. Is this something that every branch could use? But it feels really good. Like, I don't know what I'd be doing right now without the public policy team to kind of get me through from month to month. So I'll be quiet, but that's kind of that's what we've been doing.
Thanks, Shari. That all sounds amazing. And I'm gonna make a suggestion. And before I let Christine talk, that maybe why don't we create a central repository for all of us to share like agendas? So right now we try to highlight when branches have events, but maybe something that would be useful for all of you is that in addition to our notes, like our running notes and our recordings of our peer group meetings, if you'd be willing to share some of those kind of like here's the agenda for these meetings and this was effective, then maybe we can create a central repository and share it out with everyone rather than having you come to each other. Let me think about how to do that. Maybe it's a form, but I'm sure Amy and I can come up with something and we'll send something out to all of you and create that. If you want to share individually for now, great. But I think that that's a really good idea in addition to the events that we could create as a resource for this group.
Okay.
Christine?
Well, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm probably in a pretty unique situation because Humboldt County doesn't have a huge population. I'm the District 2 member, a voting member of Humboldt County Democratic Central Committee. So I have a lot of friends and connections through there. Our county now has 10 indivisible groups, and they're all connected through leadership. So if any of you are interested, join an indivisible group. You might be able to pull in more and younger people that are more interested in doing even action things. And so I have this is for my AAUW meeting tomorrow, and it's the phone calls to make recently, like someone said. And we have the 5 calls, and we have the list of phone numbers of our 2 senators plus Chuck Schumer. And the big issue to call about right now is ICE funding, and get it separated out of the DHS funding, and talking about what changes they could be made to ICE. So I'm going to be passing this out to our members. Normally at our meetings, we have just one great program, fabulous program about what's happening in our area, but it definitely needs to get more political. And I'm going to try to do that. I'm kind of new to the group, and I'm so stretched in some ways. Recently, a group of us, more indivisible people, went to our COPP. That is a community oversight group on police practices. And our big question is, what are you going to do as a police force to protect the community and protect us when ICE comes to our community and breaks the law? See, that's the secret word: break the law. So if they break into people's homes, the federal law enforcement has given them an awful lot of leeway on things, or that's the way it looks. But luckily, things I think are slowly changing, like in Minnesota, and hopefully for the rest of us, although California probably has much more specific rules on police practices. So far, we have had some luck. We've had our police chief write a letter to the community about what they intend to do, which still isn't quite answering our questions. And then yesterday, our COPP, this oversight of the police department, is answerable to Eureka City Council. And of course, that's only a group that covers Eureka. It doesn't cover all the other little towns in Humboldt County. Then last night, I went to a Human Rights Commission. I don't know if any of the rest of you in your counties have human rights commissions. And they basically are an advisory committee to the Board of Supervisors in your counties. So there's all these other little groups and things that you might be able to find people that are interested in going and visiting to find out what those community policies are that then can translate into policies through our state legislature. We are so small enough here that I know my congressman. I met with him a week ago. He's up here, and it's Jared Huffman, and I don't know if any of you have looked at the new map. He has a huge map that looks like a mushroom and covers the whole of Northern California, plus down to Petaluma, down the coast. So he's going to need postcards, and I've been doing postcards since 2018 with a group called Activate America. But I just usually go through a contact I have in Sonoma County, and he sends me lists. And I make copies of those lists. I've done 400, 500, lists of voters to write postcards to at a time. So Activate America is one resource, and you might have somebody in your county that also has links with Activate America that does. We right now do not know how many, who is running for who in our districts, because we have all these new districts that have been carved out because of Prop 50. So we're waiting to see who's running. Now, I know that Jared is running, and we've been very happy with our congressman. He's very environmentally active in our state, in the national Congress on environmental issues. So but he normally gets 70% of the vote in the old district number 2, but he's now in the new district number 2, and he says his voting block is down to maybe 50 something. So he now has Reading, which is very red.
So I'm sorry, but aren't we nonpartisan? Are we getting involved in
the thing
in
is,
campaigning for particular candidates?
if you that's true in a way, but if you need to make a difference, you do need to be able to also interact with your state assemblyman,
I don't know
your
if you
state.
do it under the aegis of AAUW is my question.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
Okay, so you're talking just about general activism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
But you
I
might
kind of
be
like
able
to
to pull
focus
in
on
more people.
I would like to focus on AAUW right now, if you don't mind.
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So, what I wanted to say is I don't want to give the impression that my branch is all fun interest groups. Like I said, California Cuisine and Bridge. We have substantive programs every month. And there is one group that's policy focused that does turn out people, and that's our DEI racial justice group. And I have a feeling that the reason they get the turnout and I don't is because theirs is a potluck and everybody is going to come and drink wine and eat food together, which is wonderful in community building. I'm not equipped to do that right now. But so I'm really interested in hearing some ideas about how to build that community, Sherry. So I look forward to connecting with you.
Before Kathy goes, I would say that racial justice is public policy and public policy is racial justice work. So that might also be something to, like, if that gets large turnout, to say, hey, can I, be part of that program? Because there's no point having a group that talks about racial justice if you're not going to have policy that supports racial justice.
Yeah, we're actually partnered with them on the school board project.
Yeah.
But you know what? We are having trouble finding volunteers to sign up to monitor the school board meetings. Even though they've got a much bigger base of engaged people than my public policy group does. I think part of it is public policy sounds dull and boring. It's not. Those of us who are involved, we know that it's the lifeblood of our community, our society. But I wish there was some other way to name it so people aren't turned off because they think it's going to be boring.
I call our Blue Sky page advocacy. Like, I focus on advocacy there to, like, I do use the public policy term, but I also use advocacy, and that might be something to center in what you're doing, because all the work that we're doing is like legislative advocacy, right? And then it might be a good kind of bridge.
Yeah, I do think that will help. I want to address one other idea that Sherry mentioned, and that is talking in the general meetings about public policy. Our branch used to have each interest group chair stand up and talk about what their group is doing. So we used to have the opportunity to do that. But there was a line of like 20 women standing in line, all the interest group chairs waiting to talk. And then, it delayed the start of the meeting and people got restless. And, so the president, a couple presidents ago, just said no more announcements at our general meetings, no more. And, the meetings are much more compact and less boring to attend. But as a result, I don't get to talk about public policy to our general membership or advocacy. Thanks, Missy.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm done.
Probably done.
Either.
Kathy, go ahead.
So this is a quick note in response to what Missy wrote in the chat about meeting people where they are in special interest groups. Many years ago, when I used to be in the Carlsbad Oceanside Vista Bench, our book club was reading 3 Cups of Tea. And we got really excited about the author's project of supporting girls' schools in Afghanistan. And so we started this project we called it Change for Change. And we had a decorated tin can, and we would bring it to each meeting, and we would have all the members put their spare change into this can. And we presented it at the general membership meeting, and everybody else got so excited about it, their interest groups wanted to do it as well. And so we collected this money. At the end of each month, we would send a check to his foundation. And I'm just bringing this up because it's a way, it was an opportunity for us at each of these interest group meetings to talk about public policy and to help members understand how it did affect them in everything that they do, and that how they could all be a part of it. So everybody's not going to be gung-ho and want to be on the public policy committee or do every project. But if you can just find a way something like that to get your members to realize that you have a little tiny part that you can play. This is it. This is all we're asking of you. Put 25 cents in this can every month, and you're doing public policy work. And so that's just an idea. It worked out really great for us.
Thanks, Kathy. Shari?
The only thing I was going to say when we stepped over into, I don't want to say endorsing candidates, but we get politically involved, the thing that I found really helpful was going back to the beginning of this year, the way in which, I guess it was you, Missy, who wrote the document about Prop 50 and why do we stand behind it in a nonpartisan way. I go back to our values, and I let people self-select out away from AUW because maybe they're not in support of our values. Like they don't support reproductive freedom, or they don't support, or they don't, wouldn't align with where AUW stands on transgender youth, or bias in the public school systems. And so I'm just saying, I feel like there's that fine line where we can be somewhat political as long as we tie it to AUW's core values around equity for women and girls, and then build up from there, if you will, and make it very relatable, and use language that comes directly from national. So that's how we have been addressing that, and that's how we want members who are conservative to join AUW, but they'd also have to, they'd have to decide, do their values align with AUW's core values, and let them self-select out.
Yeah.
We're hoping that they're going to self-select in.
We are. And I will use, again, Sina's great phrase, we are political, not partisan.
Right.
So,
exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so I've been following that model.
Fantastic. And we went over time, but I really appreciate the conversation and the support. And Amy and I will put our heads together and think about how we can best create a repository of some sort for you all to share, so that whatever the conversations are that you're having in the smaller group, that we can amplify that, for helping everybody kind of think about what to do with getting people more invested in public policy and advocacy. We're here to support you all in the things you're doing on the ground. So anything that we can do to support you all, you let us know.
Great. Thank you for another great meeting.
You're welcome. Thank you all. It's always inspiring to be in this room with all of you. So thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing, and we will see you in 2 months, if not before, on many other webinars. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.